Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise you I'll update daily. If you like this watch, you can see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today, we're discussing a big watch with a big name. This is the Ball Engineer Hydrocarbon Spacemaster X Lume, also known as the Glow. This is a watch that has a 41.5mm case that wears more like a 45. Satin in stainless steel. Thank goodness this one's not all of high polish. It would simply overpower, and you'd probably be able to see it from space. So 41.5 millimeters across the case. The timepiece is simply larger than that in every other dimension, as it's a robust 16.6 millimeters thick. Of course, 41.1 does not include the crown guard structure, which we'll discuss in a moment. And lug-to-lug, this is a big boy. It measures 53.6 millimeters lug-to-lug, add the end links of the bracelet, and now we're talking 56.8 millimeters. The spacing between the lugs is 21 millimeters, but you can see how robust that attachment system is. It would seem almost a crime to fit some sort of a strap to this watch, and in any case, I'm not sure how that would even work. So you're going to go with the bracelet, and you're not going to regret it. The bracelet is, well, let's say if the watch is built like a tank, I would have to say the bracelet is built like a battleship anchor, keeping our military theme going. The links are all of satin, and they're handsome. They are faceted, they are beveled, they are thoughtfully detailed. They're not just big blocks of metal. So the attention to detail runs rich with this one. All removable links fixed by screws, and you'll appreciate that the watch gives you two half links so you can precisely size, and you'll also note that is symmetrical from side to side. There are four half links. Moreover, there are two deployants based inside of the clasp itself. So if you want to use this watch over a dive suit, or you just want to pull out one side to get a bit more slack during periods of activity when your wrist might swell, there's a total of 22 millimeters of extra strap length that can be folded out from the clasp. And like everything else on the bracelet, these extensions milled out from the solid feel incredibly secure. By the way, the clasp is quite literally milled out from one block. The individual components, the chassis, the swing arm, the triggers, all feel hewn from ingots, and you can see just how substantial everything here is. Of course, it's a trigger secured clasp, not friction fit and not locked with a cheap clamshell. Ball spent real money here, and you, the owner, will be the beneficiary. You can even see that the pin snaps use ball bearings with spring-loaded backing. That is incredible attention to detail in a watch which is decisively accessible. This is anything but a cost-prohibitive timepiece. A lot of value is packed into this watch, with impressive features being accessible at a reasonable price, especially compared to mainstream brands like Breitling, Rolex, and Omega. The bezel is a captive bezel. You can see the screws on the flank used to fix it in place, and it also features rider tabs, so it's both a captive bezel fixed in place by screws, not snapped into position, and like Breitling, it has modular rider tabs that you can use to get a real secure purchase on it. Those raised tabs allowing you to dig your fingers in when they might be wet, sweaty, or gloved. Why do you want the captive bezel? Well, once more, with the screws fixing it to the case, you can't accidentally snap it off against a door frame or a doorknob. That's the benefit of that design. It's a unidirectional rotating dive style bezel. There will be a lume shot, and I happen to prefer dive bezels to chronographs. You just line up the minute hand with the luminescent pearl, and now you've got a 0 to 60 minute count up timer. I find for most things that I have to time, 60 minutes or less is the mark, and it's easier to read a hand against a bezel than a small subdial on a watch. Giant indices, tri-Arabics, and a date. The watch has a matte black base, and it features 29 tritium tracers. Well, primary tritium tracers. The timepiece featuring encapsulated vials of tritium and a phosphorescent material, so it's a self-activating glow. There's no need to charge it up with sunlight. If you were to put it in a locker for 3 years, you would open the locker, pull it out, it would still be glowing even in the middle of the night. That's the advantage of using tritium tracers, and that's the meaning of the MB Microtech H3 script engraved into the case back. The timepiece does feature a day and a date, Significantly, it's a trilingual date with French, Spanish, and English for the days of the week. There is a double quickset, the watch using what Ball calls an RR 1102 caliber. I call it an ETA 2836. 25 joules, automatic winding, bidirectional, 38-hour power reserve, double quickset for the day and the date, and hacking or stop seconds. It's a precise and tough time teller. It's also protected down to 333 meters, a wonderfully quirky depth rating. The timepiece featuring anti-magnetism up to 11,000 ampere per meter, which does exceed the ISO standard of 4800 to meet the terms of an anti-magnetic watch. So this is more than double the ISO standard thanks to soft iron inner cage components, and it has a crown protecting device that you activate by pushing a trigger and sliding it up. Now this looked all sorts of fiddly and fragile when I first saw it. After experiencing it, it is very secure and more solid even than the equivalent device on a Panerai. You cannot accidentally dive with this thing popped open. It's simply too easy to see it. It's a red flag. And you screw the crown out. It's still a screw down crown. You cannot close the system unless the crown is screwed back in. So it's an extra measure of defense against accidental drowning of your watch. And it also protects the watch against impact. Crown guards can protect your watch against shearing, but you need something capping the crown to actually protect it against impact. And Ball notes that this watch, resistant to momentary impulses of 7,500 Gs, is also tested as a fully assembled watch that is stem tube assembly, threaded stem tube, and the guard device. The case back featuring the image of an aviator. This, after all, is a aerospace-inspired timepiece, equally appropriate below the waves or far above. This is an all-around sports watch that is built to absolutely military-like specifications. Check that. I was in the Navy. We never had anything this nice. This is a timepiece that goes over and above. See it and make it yours on the watch box. Ball Engineer Hydrocarbon Spacemaster. Did I say 29? I meant 80 tritium tracers. Luminova on the bezel, tritium tracers in 3 colors on the dial. See it on the watch box.